Take a look at today. Take a look at the ballot for next year. Just to briefly look ahead, Todd Helton is knocking on the door. Was he 11 shy? I think it was 11 votes shy. 72%. Billy Wagner, Andrew Jones. I'm very torn on Gary Sheffield. We'll have debates throughout the year. Then Beltran, A-Rod, and Manny are there. But again, you're looking at Helton and Billy Wagner are knocking on the door. Year 9 for Billy Wagner. Now, there's also an influx of talent. First-year players on the ballot. And I keep saying, look, Beltre, Maurer, and Utley, but also strong careers from Adrian Gonzalez, Matt Holliday. David Wright was certainly on a Hall of Fame trajectory.
Don't forget Bartolo Colon.
There's good players making their first year, but let me just focus on, I can go war or I can just go on feel. I don't have to go stat crazy. Chase Utley is one of the winningest players I've ever seen with my own eyes. Where are you on Chase Utley?
You know, you've left a big mark on me in the way I think, and that bothers me no end. But
that was a good thing.
Chase Utley is kind of the poster boy for what you're talking about. Guys with big peaks who were winners, and that's him. I mean, Chase was such a central figure on these great Phillies teams. That 5-year run from 27 to 2011, Chase and Jimmy Rollins were the heart of that team.
Yep.
They were kind of the Whitaker and Trammell of that team because they played more games together than any double play combination in the history of the National League. None of what you're looking at happens without Chase Utley. He was special. Just the way he thought and prepared and led was special. Can I tell you my one question about Chase?
Yeah.
Chase is a big peak guy. That's the argument, correct? How long really was Chase's peak, would you say, at the top of your head?
6 years?
This is what I saw.
No,
2005 to 2009. His average WAR per year was basically an 8-win player.
So that's an MVP for 4 straight years, essentially.
Okay, 5, right? But then the injuries really began to settle in. And I think we can make his peak look longer than it really was.
Because it was so strong there, and then there's an outlier. Not unlike Don Mattingly, who also should be in the Hall of Fame. JP?
Yes, well, to your point, Jason, among WAR 7, Baseball Reference, what a great guide that is to measure peak.
Yeah, it is.
Second highest WAR 7 of anybody on that projected ballot. Anybody. That tells you a lot about how great he was for that interval of time. And Jason, for me as a voter, and I plan to vote for Utley, I think that it was the historical significance of the teams that he played on that elevates him. You cannot tell the story of the aughts and the early teens of this century without the Phillies and Utley. And I really hope, Jason, that this elevates elevates the case of Jimmy Rollins, who's
you guys both vote. Well. You vote on Rollins.
Yes.
I vote for Rollins, and that I'm going beyond the WAR stat here. But Utley was just the base running, the hitting, the fielding at a superior level. Seen very few things like